What's up, family? Today we have some major news in regards to a potential terror attack against the United States, specifically in the state of New York. Yes, we were just finding out about this a few hours ago or a few days ago, and I definitely want to share it with you because I need to make you aware of this just in case something like this happens in the near future, which I'm almost certain that it probably will happen in the near future. But first off, let's go ahead and talk about some crazy stories that I just read online, and I wanted to share that with you. It says right here that police, according to them, they are telling us that an 11-year-old has now confessed of killing the former Louisiana mayor and his daughter. I beg the question to you guys, what is going on with our children in this country? We just talked about it last week in regards to that mass shooting that happened at that high school, and now we are talking about an 11-year-old. For number one, what is he doing with a gun? For number two, what would convince him to go after a former mayor? I mean, come on now. Anytime you kill any type of high-level person like this, a mayor, they are coming after you. They are going to try their best to throw the book at you. And according to this 11-year-old has finally confessed. It says right here that an 11-year-old boy has admitted to police that he fatally shot the former interim mayor of a small Louisiana town and his adult daughter. The child was arrested on Sunday afternoon after admitting killing Joe Cornelius Sr., who was 82 years old, and his daughter Keisha Miles, who was 31 years old. Yes, Cornelius was a former longtime Minden City Councilman and former interim mayor of Minden. Yes, and apparently this guy has confessed to it. Now, the boy, who was described only as a relative of the victims, has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and is being held on a $500,000 bond. It is unclear if the child will be tried as an adult. I would say that they are probably going to try him as an adult. Now, we just talked about it last week where this potential child, 14 years old, ended up bringing an AR-15 to school, creating a mass murder in which he killed 2 teachers and 2 students. That particular person, that 14-year-old, is going to be tried as an adult, and we actually have some new information related to that story. I want to share it with you real quick. We just found out that the mother of the Georgia shooting suspect, that 14-year-old child, she actually called the school 30 minutes before the actual gunfire took place. Yes, this is rather startling because she obviously knew that something was going on, and it says in this particular article that her son gave her a text message apologizing to her, saying that he is sorry about everything. So yes, like I said, we are just finding out this information, and this is rather alarming, but there was some major issues that was going on with inside of this family, which have been finding out over the last few days or so, in which this child, he had a rough upbringing. And now over the weekend, we are hearing from the grandfather of the 14-year-old suspect. Now check this out. This is what he said right here, that the grandfather of the Georgia high school shooting suspect, Colt Gray, he calls for the 14-year-old father to face the death penalty for spurring him to commit such a mass murderer. Now, reading on through this particular article, it talks about the grandfather is saying that the father of the child, he was always yelling, he was always screaming, and that is the type of household that this young child, the 14-year-old, was brought up in. He's saying that it was definitely a troubled family, if you will, and he understands exactly why the child did this, because he just had a horrible time living in this household. Now, the grandfather is 81 years old, and he said that, look, spending 11 years with that particular father of the 14-year-old, all he did was scream and holler every single day. He said that it can affect anybody. So yes, he is now speaking out against this particular father, saying that he hopes that he gets the death penalty. So again, like I said, we are just finding out all sorts of things related to the mother, related to the father, and obviously this particular child, he had a troubled household that he was brought up in. And obviously with the father buying him an AR-15, knowing that he was troubled, yes, it kind of seems that the father was actually pushing him to do something like this, maybe to get recognition or something like that. But anyways, guys, like I said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with our children? Our children are troubled. They need help, a lot of them in this country. And guys, we definitely do not need to be giving our children these type of weapons for them to be able to use them without supervision. I understand that some huge gun owners want to give their child an AR-15 or some type of hunting rifle, but again, the child needs to only be able to access them under supervision. They can't necessarily keep those machine guns in their bedrooms. That is completely insane. So again, guys, like I told you last week, we need to stop and pray for these families, the ones that have lost loved ones, these two children that ended up losing their lives, as well as those teachers. They were just there to teach our children, and they ended up losing their lives as well. So I would encourage you to join me in praying for them, their families, their friends, their loved ones. Take the time, take at least 2 minutes to pray for all of them out there, guys. We definitely need to send prayers up in the meantime. But last but not least, guys, we do want to go ahead and tell you about a particular story that just hit the waves several hours ago, in which there was a potential attack against the United States. Something similar along the lines of what we saw on September the 11th. You guys recall 9/11? Where were you guys at during that time? I specifically remember where I was. I was at one of my older jobs, obviously, and it was just a tragic day, guys. Wouldn't you guys agree? But anyways, there was a particular story that just came out about a Pakistani man that was also planning on carrying out one of the largest U.S. attacks since 9/11. Luckily, guys, that plan was foiled. He was actually arrested over this particular plot that he was planning on doing. And guys, take a look at this right here, that he was actually planning to kill Jews in New York City, NYC, guys. And luckily, they did find out about this, and they were able to arrest him. Now, shockingly enough, he was actually arrested outside of the United States. It says right here that the alleged would-be terrorist was arrested in Canada last Wednesday. He is accused of plotting a mass shooting at a Jewish center in New York City in support of ISIS. Yes, this particular person was a 20-year-old. I just told you guys, what are we going to do about our children? This guy, 20 years old, he is a child. His name was Mohammed Shahzeeb Khan. He was 20 years old. He was a Pakistani national who lives in Canada and also goes by the name of Shahzeeb Jaddoon. He has been charged with attempting to provide material support and resources to a designated foreign terrorist organization. He would face up to 20 years in prison if he is convicted. Now, that is a huge issue right there, guys. Why are we only giving him up to 20 years if he is convicted? Why not just put him in there for life, so that sends a message to everyone out there that wants to attempt to cause harm on anyone in the United States? This is why we need someone strong as the next president of the United States. Someone that is going to see this type of thing and just go ahead and throw the hammer at these people, guys. We need to send a message. But putting the message out there that this particular person can only get up to 20 years and then reality hits, he only gets 5 years. I mean, that pretty much encourages more people to potentially do something like this to Americans on American soil. Do you guys agree? But anyways, like I said, this luckily did not happen. Somehow intelligence was able to get information in regards to this and basically arrest this particular potential terrorist in Canada. Now, it does say that Khan was arrested by Royal Canadian Mounted Police on a material support of terrorism warrant issued out of the Southern District of New York. So yes, they did find out in New York York, in which they contacted Canada, in which the police ended up going in and arresting this particular individual. Now, it does say that the alleged Khan attempted to travel to the United States to carry out a terrorist attack and murder as many Jewish people as possible, all in support of ISIS. Didn't we think that ISIS was gone? No, they are not gone. They are still there, as well as Hamas. Both of them want to cause harm to Americans, to the United States. And it does say right here that Khan's alleged crimes are a vivid reminder that we must remain vigilant in the fight against anti-Semitism and terror. I struggle with that word, guys. But anyways, guys, this is some good news because this particular potential attack was foiled. He was arrested and now he is being held on bond, and hopefully they just give it to him, hopefully 20 years, so that sends a message to any other person that is potentially trying to do the same thing. We as Americans, you and I, whoever watching this particular video, hopefully that you will stay vigilant as well. Guys, we are just continuously seeing more of this, and let's just face it, we are going to see this for the rest of our lives because so many people hate the United States. And we're not just talking about in the United States, we are also talking about people that live outside of this country. Multiple countries out there, specifically countries like North Korea, Russia, China, they all want to cause harm to America, to the American people. So anyways, guys, continuing on, it says right here that the man arrested for ISIS-inspired plot to slaughter Jews in New York City, according to prosecutors. And like I said, they're potentially saying that he could only get up to 20 years. I personally think it should be more. What do you guys think? I would love to get your thoughts on this. Comment down below. Let me know how many years you think this particular 20-year-old should get so that they can send that message across the country, across the world. How many years do you think this particular individual needs to get? I know that he was not successful. However, he was still planning on doing it. This is also the same as someone planning on going to a school and committing a mass shooting at a school as well. We need to stop any type of attempts from anyone that is trying to do such a thing in America. Take that to other countries and do it. We don't have any room in the United States for anyone to do that. Like I said, we need a strong president that is going to come in and do something about this potential terrorist attacks on our country. We have got to protect this as long as possible. But anyways, guys, like I told you guys, this is not just dealing with Hamas. This is not just dealing with ISIS. This is also dealing with other countries as well. Because we've talked about this previously over the last year or so, in which the FBI director has already warned us that Chinese hackers are aiming to wreak havoc against the United States. Yes, as you can see in this old article that came out in January, also came out last year in 2023, because there are multiple alarms, multiple alerts letting us know what is going on, what the Chinese are doing right now. And this is just another warning message to you guys to be vigilant, just to know what could potentially happen so that you can prepare yourself. Let's just face it. Go ahead and start preparing yourself today, because you never know when something like this might actually happen. But the FBI director, Christopher Wray, he testified before Congress saying that hackers are planning. They have sleeper cells already embedded in the United States that are waiting to push that red button to shut down the U.S. infrastructure, shut down the U.S. Electrical grid, as well as shutting down the U.S. water grid. Just think, guys, if something like that were to happen, are you prepared for it? I know me, myself, I'm not prepared, but I need to get prepared. This is a warning right here to prepare ourselves. Go ahead and stock up and keep bottled water at your home just in case, because you never know when something like this might actually happen. Do you want to survive? These are some of the things that you need to do to protect you and your family, a safe haven. Also, maybe you need a gun, because let's say your neighbor or someone that doesn't like you and you have a bottled water and they don't have anything or food, they're going to come to you for that, and they might be bringing guns to take your water and take your food. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just speaking what could potentially happen. So you might want to prepare yourselves for something like this in the future or in the near future. The director of FBI has already told us Other countries have already told us. Multiple congressmen, multiple lawmakers, multiple potential running presidential candidates have told us the same thing as well. So we have to take this a little bit serious, and us as being consumers out here, because no one is going to come save us, guys. Especially if you are just a regular person like me, no one is going to come save us. We have got to save ourselves. So these are some of the things I am thinking about in my head to prepare for something like this to happen, specifically if we get a terror attack or something like that. We've got to even get masks to cover ourselves in case there is nuclear warfare. Think about that, guys. It is just something to keep in the back of your minds. And maybe if you're like me, you want to prepare yourselves and be prepared, because you never know when something like this could potentially happen. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to share that with you because I am so excited that this particular potential terror attack on Jews in New York City was deflected, was foiled. So therefore, we no longer have to worry about it, but we could have some copycatters out there that want to try to do the same thing, and they might think that they can get away with it as well. So anyways, guys, pray. Luckily, guys, this did not happen, guys. Wouldn't you guys agree? But anyways, I would love to get your thoughts on this. So if you get an opportunity, please take the time, comment down below. I love to read your comments. Also, don't forget to hit the like button on this video. It really helps us grow on YouTube. And then as always, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button down below. We would love to have you as part of the Budget Bill family. But outside of all of that, I hope to see you on the next video.